So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Joette Calabrese. I'm a homeopath, and we do this every Monday night. We've been doing this for well over a year now. Every Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we usually go over my Materia Medica so I can teach you inch by inch along the way. I'm assuming that many of you, however, are doing your own studying. Okay, let's see. My TV does that from time to time. Yes. Hi from Fishers. Hearing great. Okay, good. You can hear me perfectly even while I pixelated. It's really crazy. Okay, we can hear you. Great. And for those who do know me, welcome back, my friends. It's great to see you all. And now let me take a look at Facebook friends. Yes, we can hear you just fine. Excellent, excellent, wonderful. Wonderful to see you all. Hello, Joe at Mighty in Illinois, watching on Facebook tonight. Yeah, you get your choice. But I don't know about choices anymore, folks, in case you haven't probably already noticed that choices are not as much as we used to have, except in our own personal lives. And we are going to take advantage of that. Because everything that we do on a day-to-day basis is really up to us. Everything that we experience is up to us. Certainly, there is such a thing as bad luck. There is such a thing as circumstances that come our way. We didn't know that Zamboni was coming down that ice rink when we were ice skating, and bam, we get run over by it. So those things, there's no doubt those things happen, but then we want to make the best of it. If you get hit by a Zamboni, no, that's not going to happen to me because now I'm in Florida, but I was just up in Buffalo where Zambonis are plentiful. If you get hit by a Zamboni, I want you to think of it as this. Okay, it broke my leg. It really hurts. I'm all beat up. I'm in traction. I'm stuck in bed. What a great opportunity for you to pray, for you to learn homeopathy, for you to connect to your family in a different way, for you to step down and say, okay, folks, you're going to have to make the dinners for a while. There's always a way to get around this stuff. We are charged with finding meaning in our lives. That's our job. We need to find meaning in our lives that will transcend into not only into our old age, but into even beyond, into the next world. We want to take this with us. We as women, and I know we have men here too, but mostly we're women, and we are going to be the old crones who have a lot to give to society. We want to give to our families first, always our families first. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see it. Whether your family is a family of dogs because you don't have a husband or children, or if it's your husband and your children, it's that we start there. Remember, that is Maslow's method of looking at the hierarchy of life. First, we take care of our families. Then that's our nuclear. Then we go to our extended family. Then we go to extended. We go, and that can mean, depending on how you define family, then we go to the neighbors and our church mates and our children's parents and our children's friends, and we go outward. First, start home. Do what you can to learn what you need to learn in order to be the old crone who knows how to treat this, and this. And if you don't know, you'll learn, or you'll figure it out, or you'll go to my blog where it's free and go and learn as much as you possibly can. It's about meaning. And so tonight, we're going to veer from what we normally do. We normally go to my Materia Medica. I always want to show this because people have asked me to do this. You can get this, should you be interested, on my website. But I also want you to know that tonight we're going to be talking about fears and the fear of what's forthcoming with the big bad, you know what, that kind of fear. What if we get really, got to put something on, cover this, the muzzle, etc. All of that stuff. And I'm going to use other words because, as you know, we have to be very careful about what we say because I will be shut down. And for those of you who know that that's certainly a possibility, I want you to consider, for a nominal fee, and I mean really nominal, it's about $7 or $8 a month to join my Mighties, and I give more information. I do more videos. I give a daily inspiration, and then a few times a month I offer articles and more information on how I live my life and how I can help you should you be interested. So tonight we're going to be talking about why I don't worry about all of this stuff. And I've got to tell you that in the very beginning, and I probably mentioned this before, but so bear with me if you've heard it. But in the very beginning of all of this, back in the spring, when this all came around, my first thought was, oh, we got to figure out what the symptoms are here. We need to know what is presenting, because then we'll know how to treat it. Because it was novel, and because it's novel, we don't have necessarily a specific protocol. My husband's first point was, or note was, something seems really fishy about this. Something seems wrong. And I am going to tell you that I believe that this is real, but it's not as as devastating. And I urge you to do your own homework. My guess is most of you have. To kill your television, go not one step below television or beyond television. I mean, go 2, 3, 4 steps deep and find out what's really potentially going on. I don't know that any of us have exact answers, but we have enough good questions that we can support our thinking and go into how we need to approach this and other potential catastrophes. So I don't worry about this, also because we're supposed to get sick. Do you understand that? We're supposed to get sick. Why? Because we live on Earth, because we are humans, because we are fallen, essentially. We're supposed to get sick. And the kinds of sicknesses that we actually welcome are those that are of infectious nature, such as a respiratory infection. Excuse me, influenza. You know what I'm talking about. We're supposed to get this. How else are we going to build immunity? How else are we going to educate our immune system and our children's immune systems and everyone's immune system? How will we educate it if we don't catch, resolve, and build the immunity? So the herd immunity is a very big discussion. And the only way that we can gain herd immunity, I don't care what anybody says, is by actually getting it, or a certain percentage of people getting it. I don't believe that is the way that you build herd immunity. That's not artificial, is not building herd immunity. The natural method is you get around someone who's got something and you get a cold or you get a flu. Then you mount a response. You go home and you say, uh-oh, I feel sick. And you start thinking about the homeopathic medicines to choose. And you get your remedies in front of you. You grab some chicken soup, bone stock, and you start sipping and you go to bed. So what? You go to bed. You know, when I was a little girl back in the 50s and early 60s, we were never sick for a day or two. Everyone, my whole class, there were 33 kids in most of my classes. And there were, you know, in like 4th grade, for example, we had 33 kids in each class, and there were 6 classes. In 5th grade, there were 5 classes. So there, you know, that's the way it is in the world. And so we all knew how long everybody was out. In fact, I had a friend who I've sort of been in touch with from time to time, who actually used to keep a ledger when we'd get back from school at the end of the day. She kept a ledger as to who was absent. She had a whole list of all the kids in the class, their names, and what days they were absent. She just did it for fun. And it was interesting to see that when someone was sick and the flu was going around, that person would be sick for 10, 14 days. Yes, 10 days. Yes, 14 days. That is normal. That is natural. That's how we build our immunity. We get sick. That, however, my friends, is without homeopathy. That is without homeopathy. But when we have homeopathy, now we're in a completely different category. Life takes on a different hue. What hue does it take on? A rosy hue, because we are privileged. We are blessed. I don't want to say that we are lucky because, well, perhaps part of it is luck, but you found homeopathy by digging. You went deeper and deeper and deeper until you found solutions, till you found an answer. And we have a medicine that unfortunately is not known of by the masses. It's just one of those things. We could go into the story of that and how that was assured by a specific industry that is now profiting greatly by what's going on. But I will say that we've got something that very few people know about considering, although it's growing fast. And a big part of it is through this. We've got medicines that we do not even need to know the name of the condition. How do you know when you come home that day and you feel, I feel really beat up. I feel achy. I feel feverish. My chest feels compromised. I can feel something's coming on. What is it? Is that the first C, the 8th C, the 9th C? Is it influenza? Is it a garden variety, just a sinus infection? Is it an otitis media that's coming on? Is it conjunctivitis that's sure to come? Will this turn into a urinary tract infection? How do you know what it is? In those first few minutes, hours, even day or so, you have no idea what it is. And to be honest, I am pretty sure that my family had back in early spring, based on the timing and travel, etc., and some of the symptoms, but I don't know. And to be honest, do I really need to know? No, because when I realized that there was something going on and that it was going to be sobering, then I jumped into action. And as I said earlier, my husband had a terrible, relentless cough that first night. And I had what I called crushing fatigue. I never had the cough. He never had the fatigue. So it presented quite differently in each of us. So does that mean we had two different diseases? No, it means that this is how my body responds. That's how his body responds. So then we can use, even if we don't know what it is, we can use the symptoms. Now, recently, I have felt sick on and off for maybe it was about a week or so ago. Every morning when I woke, I felt a sore throat and a little fatigued. So I started with, and you know about this, Aconitum 200, Bryonia 30 mixed together. They're mixed together. You can either purchase them pre-mixed from OHM if you happen to be a client or a student of mine. Or if you don't have access to that pharmacy, you can get Aconitum 200 and open it up, put it in your mouth, and before really chewing or sucking on it, you get then Bryonia 30, and you put that in the mouth, and that is a Banerjee protocol. It's a beautiful thing. It's a Banerjee protocol for something that's coming on with some respiratory sinuses, mostly throat, and it feels like a cold is coming on or cough is coming on. Beautiful. It worked for me the first day, maybe not so great, because later on that day, I felt it coming on again, and I didn't feel completely as though it was completely resolved. So I took Cold Calm, just the way it sounds, Cold Calm, and that's made by Boron. I don't have it in front of me here, but it's super easy to use. Again, I took that. Fine. The rest of the day was good. Next morning, I woke up, felt it again. Throat sore, a little weak. Little generally tired and weak. This time I just said I'm not going to use Aconitum Bryonia because I really felt as though the Cold Calm is what made the difference for me. So I took Cold Calm again. 45 minutes later, back to my duties. No problem at all. It was around Christmas time. I had a lot to do. I had a lot of preparation, and we had relatives that everybody was gathering. So I had a lot of work to do. You know how it is. Mothers have a lot of work around Christmas and preparation. Oh, good that day. Next morning, woke up again with the sore throat. Now, once I know that a medicine is acting, am I going to try to find something else? No. I'm going to repeat that medicine again. The last medicine that acted is the one that I go to first. Cold Calm, took it again. Now, I did this about 3 or 4 days in a row, and then it went away. However, I think it was yesterday, I felt it. No, there was about several days without any concern, without any symptoms at all. I think it was yesterday. I felt, oh my gosh, my chest feels very weak. Now, I don't mean that I was coughing. I was not breathless. I was not having difficulty getting air or expelling air. That's not what the sensation was. The sensation was weakness. Now, can anyone tell me what it is that I had? Did I have a cold? Did I have influenza? Did I have bronchitis that was developing? What was it? Who cares? Who cares? Let's put it that way. Now, if you know you've got bronchitis, you know you've got the flu, then we can be more specific. But in the beginning, you don't know what it's going to develop into. Very unlikely that you'll know, unless you love going for testing. But I don't do that. I don't go for testing because I know I'll have a solution. So yesterday, I took antimonium tart. Ant tart. Think of auntie, like you have an aunt who loves to make cherry tarts. Ant tart. Antimonium tart. I took it in a 200C. Now, why did I choose that? If you go back to my Materia Medica and you see that is, oh, thank you. Oh, the light of day. If you go back to my Materia Medica, if you have it, if you don't, then just go back in Facebook, rewind and go back to A's, because we were doing this in alphabetical order, and look up antimonium tart. Antimonium tart is an excellent medicine for the symptoms that occur, such as weakness. That's the best way to describe it. I had a weakness in my lungs, and I also happen to have a weakness in general. Both of those together, married, make antimonium tart, regardless of how you determine what it is you've got. You're going to go strictly by symptoms. And that's what I did. I did that yesterday, took one dose. That's all I needed. Now, I might have needed more. Had it been able to develop, and it took me a few days to figure it out, I might have needed a few more doses, but I took one dose and that's all that was needed. And it was gone. I've put in a very full day yesterday because we just returned home and I had a lot of unpacking to do and organizing and laundry. And it was a very, very busy day, and cleaning the house and, getting the plants settled outside, all the work that has to be done after you've been gone for many weeks. And then today I started my work at 8 o'clock this morning, and I went all the way through till about 5:15. Never stopped, never thought twice about it. Felt great. You can tell by my energy. I feel fine. Now, if this comes back again, I'm not going to say to myself, oh no, it's back again. That is where we think as humans, but don't do that. I'm going to tell you that the way that I think this through is, oh yay, how cool is this? I know exactly what to use. I will go back to antimonium tart. That is the medicine for this because it worked so efficaciously. All right, I'm going to come back to some more ideas here, but I'm just going to read some questions from my mighties. Okay, all in one that going crazy are the last question to part. Okay, Harry is fishy. You found that, okay, Oscillococcinum, aconitum, Bryonia, gelsemium. Put it in my water bottle and sip on it. I have found, oddly enough, that Lathyrus sativa 200C and Plumbum Met 200 has helped me a lot. Very happy to hear that. What is said to be the new V is very dangerous, like to make people, I can't read that. Infertile and cause a cytokine storm within the body. Will the thuja and silica take that away when it's supposed to attach to the DNA? All of those attach to DNA. In case you didn't know that, they all do that. So I don't know that it's any different. I certainly don't have any clinical experience with any of this, but causes a DNA shift. Not only is that part of homeopathy law in terms of studying the miasms, but I've actually witnessed it clinically because I've been doing this long enough that I've seen 2 generations or 2.5 generations and what came of this when that was done, and what came of this family member when that was done, and what came of this family member when that was not done. So let me also say that we do not really know. We do not really know whether or not anything is going to be required. And it's, in my estimation, the kind of responses that I'm seeing in the 3rd layer media, even in the 2nd and 1st layer, I don't think they're going to get away. I don't think the population's going to allow it. I really don't think that's going to happen. But let's say it does. We've got our medicines. We have our medicines. Don't wonder if it's going to help. I could have wondered. Let me just put it to you this way. And I totally understand your angst. I totally get it. But let me tell you, when I felt that weakness, it was, when you feel weakness in your lungs, it could be scary. But instead, I said, I know what to use. What this medicine will give you, my friends, more than just helping you with health, the peace of mind that this medicine offers is like nothing else. Well, maybe like prayer. There's the other example of it. Deep prayer, consistent prayer can give you also this sense of, so this is the medicine that's like prayer, I suppose. I don't want to be blasphemous, but this is, excuse me for those who don't believe this, this is God's medicine. I'm sorry. It's not synthetic. There's not a big fat industry that's making a killing on it, so to speak. This is medicine that comes from nature. The only thing is that it's mathematically and pharmacologically diluted so that the toxicity of the original substance is brought down, and at the same moment the curative aspect is brought to the fore. There's no other medicine like that. There are other good medicines. I like chiropractic. I love botanicals. There are other good medicines, but I'm sorry, this trumps them all. Because I've done all the others, I've tried them all, and I still use chiropractors. Love chiropractic, by the way. You should know that. I love botanicals, but homeopathy gives you autonomy at 4 a.m. on a Saturday when you're sick, or your husband or your child or your pet is sick. You can't get into a chiropractor's office. You can't get into an alternative holistic medical doctor's office. You have to know how to do this stuff. Okay. What if you use the two medicines at once, for example, the aconite water plus Bryony, and you also happen to take ferrum phos and it worked? Then it comes back. Do you take both of those again? You took one medicine at a time, so you knew what to go back to when it happened again. Whatever works, do it again. Do it again. Did you take 4 medicines and are you in trouble? Take all 4 of them. That's the way I see this. I would do it again. Anything that works. If you get on your bicycle for the first time and you're doing it without training wheels and you were able to do it and you did it with wearing the sneakers that really held your feet tightly, should you next time when you get on the bicycle wear sandals? No. Follow exactly what you did. And eventually you will be able to bicycle without those sneakers. You'll be able to bicycle with those sandals on. You'll be able to bicycle without anything on your feet. And you'll be able to figure out which medicines acted best. Aconite and Bryonia helped us many times with only a few doses. Thank you. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Great question, Cassandra, please. Okay. Difference of weakness between, the weakness of gelsemium is not a weakness in the lungs. That's not where that gelsemium generally shows up in the entire personage. Now, antimonium tart also has a weakness in the entire personage, but antimonium tart is all about the lungs. It was the medicine that pulled my mother out of pneumonia some 30 years ago. Because she was weak and could barely speak because of the weakness in her breath. She couldn't explain it. All right, let's see what we've got here on Facebook Live. I'm going to have to go up a little bit. I don't want to miss people, but it's going so quickly. We've got so many people. It's wonderful. Same here. Use Jenkins. Okay. Lisa Jane, 200 potency of both, I assume. I don't know if that's what that means. I said aconitum 200, Bryonia 30. Okay, I'm ordering that. Love to have the stuff on hand. And yes, for weakness in the chest. Weakness in the chest with something going on, a cold or bronchitis or something. How does Stana metallicum compare with antimonium tart? That's a very good choice. And had antimonium tart not acted for me, I would have gone with Stana metallicum. Excellent, also excellent medicine. But I went with antimonium tart because of that. Because the weakness was very specifically in the chest, where Stana metallicum has weakness again, a little more generalized. But to be honest, it's almost a toss-up. All righty. Arsenicum still a good prophylactic. And Thuya, yes, it is. But here's the thing. Here's the problem with the prophylactics that I started to talk about back in the spring. The problem is that we all expected this to be over with in a short order. And in my estimation, it did not take as long as has been reported. I think it has moved along rather quickly, but nobody wants to let go of this idea. I think there are still many cases, but when we see a high percentage of recovery, then that even makes me less concerned. But my point is that in the beginning, we thought this was going to be short-lived. And so when we use a prophylactic, we don't want to use a prophylactic for 9 months. That's ridiculous. But because we did not have real information, as far as I'm concerned, it was very skewed. It was chaotic. It was every day it was different. Wear the don't wear the It does no good. It does lots of good. Go outside. Don't go outside. Restaurants closed. No, restaurants open. Wait a minute. As long as you walk into the restaurant, it's okay. But now when you sit down, then you can eat, and then you take. I mean, this is chaos. And I got to tell you, this chaos is, I don't know what it is, but it seems to me as though it's being played up, in case you know what I'm talking about. Okay, your pneumonia your a protocol for pneumonia, which has antimonium tart, knocked it out of me after 3 or 4 days. Beautiful. Yes, Elaine, you're absolutely right, sweetie. Wonderful to see you. Hi, Christy. Chiro and homeopathy work beautifully, says Christy. Chiropractic is great preventatively, and to remain functional, homeopathy is the medicine we need at those times when we are sick, both acutely and chronically. Well said, Christy, my favorite chiropractor, although she's never adjusted me. So I'm hoping that you do that someday. What if you had been told that you had during your cold, asked Melanie, would you have switched to the protocol or stayed with cold calm? How do I say this? I don't trust the tests. I think everyone's got it. I think everyone's supposed to get it. I think everyone's got it. You go by the symptoms. Cold calm is not calm. It's cold. That is what this is. This that they're talking about is a form of a regular old-fashioned cold, only it's more virulent. That's the only difference. It is a cold. It's more virulent. So I don't know if that helps you any. Okay, I'm in one that going crazy over the last question to part 9 of the kids course. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into that. I'm very sorry. Because I want to stay on the topic. That's why people have come here. I can listen to, oh, you're very sweet, Kathleen. Thank you for saying that. What other remedies besides antimonium tart? I missed what you said. Okay, so just go back. You'll be able to read it, and you'll be able to watch this again and again should you need to. Is arsenicum still okay, you asked about the prophylactic. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Isn't it for a wet cough? I think you must be talking about antimonium tart. Can be. Absolutely. I didn't get a cough. Why? Because I nipped it in the bud, moved quickly. Maybe I would never have gotten a cough. Who knows? How about fullness in the ears and drainage? Now we're talking about a potential ear infection, right, Elva? So go to the ear infection remedies. How do you do that? You do this. Joette Calabre's otitis media, or Joette Calabre's ear infection. It's free right there in my blog. It'll tell you exactly how to look at it. We took arsenicum 201 dose. It was amazing. The kids were healed overnight with arsenicum 200. Mom had to take phosphorus at day 10 with chest and cough. Then she was healed. Phosphorus is also a great medicine too, and I've talked about that. Phosphorus has, they can also have bleeding, and bleeding meaning there can be a bloody nose. And as we know, when this gets very severe, there is hemorrhaging as part of this. And phosphorus, if you read up on phosphorus, that can be very useful. Now, I've got the Banerjee protocols here of Thuya as for mild symptoms. In the very beginning, I have not been using that so often, but I do like Eupatorium, Eupatorium, Eupatorium perfolidium. The Banerjees like to use it in acute potency, which means it's mother tincture. That means it's not homeopathic, it's actually botanical. And it can be used 5 drops in 2 tablespoons of water taken twice daily, is what the Banerjees say. I've also used Eupatorium, however, recently in a 200 potency for when we know that it's gotten further along. When we didn't catch it early, that can be a really great medicine for the All right, just out of curiosity, woke up sore, but that was it, completely of unknown origin, and only symptom feels sore all over. I tried Arnica 1M about 45 minutes ago. Was 1M too high? Would I have been better? Look, I can't tell you what would have worked, but if it's working, then you know you did the right thing. I don't think 1M is too high. I think of 200 as moderate. 1M is on a little bit on the high side. Yes, I know we have to go. We have a meeting right now. Was wondering, okay, let's see. 1 dose is the number of pills recommended on the bottle. That's right. Read the bottle. Stanum is more for if you feel like an elephant is sitting on your chest. Thank you very much. There's a deep, heavy pressure on the chest. All righty, folks, we do have to go. I'm sorry. I've got a meeting right now, and I want you to consider that Jordan Peterson, who is, if you don't know who he is, you might want to check him out. He is a modern day philosopher. Check him out on YouTube. He says meaning is the antidote for chaos. Meaning, that means giving. Meaning is the antidote for chaos. Give of yourself, learn just enough so you can help others, and that will give you meaning, and that will negate the chaos. And so with that, I say God bless all of you. Mwah. Thank you, Mighties, and thank you, Facebook people, and I'll see you next week. Nice to see you all. Bye.